The guy that we think's a nice guy is probably not a very nice guy. Like, they don't just get caught, they get caught, like, straight away.
Well, now they don't have to worry because they're both dead.
No, she still tried to steal her boyfriend. Like, she's showing him zero affection, but Mel can't let it go. Well, now he's really broken. This one, with 4 pages. Can you not read the last 4 pages? I go, yeah, when I finished reading my email.
Hi, I'm Madison Mary. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, please don't hesitate to click that subscribe button down below. And without further ado, let's get into the vlog. So this is episode 2 of My Dad Reads. Last one was the ACOTAR trilogy, and this time it's going to be the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So if you are not aware, this is Leigh Bardugo's original trilogy. It came out many, many years ago. I read it back in 2015. I was a huge fan of it when I read it the first time. I was one of the few who still do adore this trilogy, but it has been adapted into a Netflix TV show which comes out on April 23rd. This will be a spoiler vlog so that we can just chat about everything, but honestly at this point if you don't really know what happens in this series, like, oh. Right. Now excited. This I will kind of, okay. I need you to not read the last page of these books because she leaves all of her books off on cliffhangers, so if you do that you will ruin everything, so please don't do it.
Okay, just so for anyone who hasn't been on before, I am a horrible person when it comes to books. I read the first 3 chapters and then I read the last chapter. And a lot of it's because after 3 chapters I figure I like the people I like, I don't like the people I don't like, and when I read, because I can spoil the end, but I actually have no problem reading the rest of the book even knowing how it's going to turn out. I like to know that I'm actually falling in love with the characters that are going to be alive at the end of each book. Because I don't like it. Life's tough enough. I don't need my books to be unhappy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think if you did it with that one, it's not the biggest deal. Like, the biggest one is the second book. The second and third book you don't want to, because you meet a lot of new people in her series as it goes on. It's a very big universe.
But you know, I don't read it because I want to know what happens. I just look for the names.
I know. It still ruins it. Anyway, okay, so I'm very excited. We're starting this vlog on the 28th of February.
Should be fun.
Yes. So, here we go. Ready?
Set.
Go!
I'm ready.
No, don't you dare. Okay, so we are now halfway through Shadow and Bone. So what do you think of the world so far? You didn't really know much about this whole thing going into it.
I knew nothing about this whole thing going into it. You just gave me the book yesterday. I will say, you wouldn't even tell me so that I couldn't even pre-read anything.
No, I kept it so under wraps so long. So what do you think?
It's actually very interesting. I think it's different than a lot of other series of this genre I've read. You can definitely see it's YA, but I think there's a lot of interesting byplay with the characters. I think the way that she starts off and her she's like in this whole subservient way, and then all of a sudden she realizes that because of her relationship with Mel, she actually hid her own power from not just herself but from anyone else. So it was only in that instant where she had to protect him that it released. So it was, I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, this series is one of the hallmarks for how all the other series kind of grew off of it, you know.
You've seen her character develop. You've seen her relationship with Mel develop, but then they went their own 2 ways, so at some point, you know, that's going to come back together. Probably when we realise that the guy that we think's a nice guy is probably not a very nice guy.
The Darkling.
Yes. He seems like a nice guy, but they're never a nice guy. And then the guy that we think is a bad guy is probably an okay guy, who is, what's his name?
Oh, the priest dude.
The priest.
Matt, he is so creepy though.
He's a little creepy when he keeps trying to get her one-on-one. And he wants to have a conversation, but she keeps trying to figure out how not to be alone with him. So I'm sure there's something there that's going to be cool, and at some point he's probably going to save her or something. When she had the falling out with Zoya, you can obviously see what's going to happen is that when she finally realises that there's something wrong with the Darkling, Zoya's going to be the person that he sends after her. Well, that's my gut feel.
Genya is one of my favourite characters, so seeing her again was just so awesome. Because she's really cool, because she has such a cool power, but she's relegated to this servant role when she really shouldn't be.
She's the Queen's pet.
Yeah, Lena's the Darkling's pet.
Yeah, and there's this weird thing is, was she sent in to become
her friend to keep an eye on her for the Darkling, or was he actually truly being altruistic and saying, hey, she needs someone who I don't see as a threat, and he doesn't see her as a threat? I don't know. But you know, it's early. It's funny. We're halfway through a book, but it feels like it's gone very fast.
She's always been a very fast-paced author, and she always gets things to the point. Her books are never have a dull moment in them. Yeah. I will admit, I'm surprised. I thought the writing style would be worse, considering that this was written in 2012, that it's like an old YA book, and people shit on this series a lot.
Why?
And they just think that it's just not well written, and they just think that it's too cliched and things like that. But it's also, you gotta remember the time that it came out in and things like that. And I just...
Yeah, but I also, you know, like this whole genre of books, themes go through themes. And I think, you know what, I think people take it all too seriously. None of it is based in reality. It is meant to be a world that you build in your head. Like I've built a world in my head of what it looks like going into the little palace, which is a palace inside a palace, you know, inside a fortified area, which is pretty unusual because there's not a lot of books that have done that.
It's the whole idea of like, oh, the Grisha is so powerful, so amazing, and yet they're still relegated to an extent to a side role to the actual kingdom itself. And then lastly, before we end this little mid-clip, what do you think of Baghra?
I love her. I love her. You know, I think, you know, she's like the old school, you know, headmistress. You know, she's going to teach these young kids. But there's something interesting going on between her and the Darkling. And there's some conversations that have taken place that sort of lead you to believe that she knows more about what his plans are, because she's been very clear to warn her away from him, you know, and not to trust him, and not to, like, I thought the conversation around the amplifier was interesting, where he's saying, well, I'm going to find the stag, and she goes, well, there's 100 other amplifiers, anything will do.
Yeah.
There's something in that we'll figure it out when we get there, I suppose.
We'll catch you guys up later. Bye! It's the next day. Dad has finished the book. I also finished the book. And we have both read 6 chapters into it, because you got 6 chapters into it.
How did you know how far I've read?
Because I could tell this morning that you read more than you said. So I checked your Kindle to see where you were. And so I just read to it.
That's not very nice of you to check up on me.
It's not very nice of you not to follow the rules.
I'm not very good with rules.
It's fine, it's fine. It gives us more to talk about anyway. This morning we were chatting a little bit about it, and Dad was talking about some things that he likes it, but there's some things that bother you. So we'll be going into a little bit of Siege and Storm at this point as well.
The thing that bothers me the most is, how do people keep getting away from people? Both of them have powers. We don't really understand Mel's. We just know he's got this insane ability to track things and hide from people. And she has this crazy magical power. How they keep getting caught. Like, they don't just get caught, they get caught like straight away. You then have the Darkling, who has spent years trying to find this mythical stag and happens to turn up at exactly the same place at exactly the same time as they meet the stag. I don't get it. I suppose you could explain it away as like calls to like, therefore the connection between him and her means that he can follow her. But how is he following so close? Because they can't travel through time. There's no such thing as portal travel. And Mel, who's this world famous tracker, like the best in the universe, doesn't know he's being followed by someone.
You know what? That actually is... How did they follow them without him? And how did they get that close without him realizing?
Look, the good thing about the book is there's plenty of action. It moves fast. You know...
This one's really quick. This one's
like we're
really,
powering through this. So I think that it is cool. And maybe the other thing is, I spent years and years reading adult fiction, that now all of a sudden reading it is a junior YA. I'm sitting there going, okay, could someone explain all this stuff? And I probably normally wouldn't even think twice about it. I'd just read it and go, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
But because you're asking me to talk about it, now I'm analysing it and going, okay, why is all this stuff happening? And why isn't there any Why is she not building a bridge for me, taking me on this journey?
They're not fleshed out.
No, not at
They're
all.
very basic, which I think is why it's so easily adapted to a TV show, is because there's so much to flesh out with them and build upon them.
Yeah, you can.
As
Yeah,
it's
the TV show can actually. There's a lot of levity it can take.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what do you think of Strummond, the privateer?
Well, it's early. I like him.
I know.
Cool
I know,
character.
he's awesome.
Cool character. I like the fact that he double-crossed the Darkling and then not only double-crossed him, but then beat him.
Yeah.
I actually think he's going to turn out to be one of those bad good guys. So he's definitely out for himself. He's a privateer. He's going to be very self-centered. It's all going to be about money. But he's going to do what's right in the end. And now the trick is, who are they going back to meet? And that's where I think they're going back to meet the priest dude.
I feel like that's kind of what we really need to talk about, just kind of what you thought of the first book overall. Just, I mean, it was fine.
I would say that if I was rating it on a scale of books, for me as a YA book, it's probably a 7. On the scale of books that I read, it's closer to a 5. It's probably not the sort of book that I would have read. I would have read the synopsis. I probably would have read it, but I don't know that I'd have read all of the series. I probably would have got through the first one and gone, okay. And I think the other part for me is I'm a little bit of a snob. And if a book doesn't have at least 400 or 500 pages, I sort of sit there and go, is it really worth my effort? Because of the speed at which I read, I sort of sit there and, like, we're going to be through 2 books in 2 days.
Well, yeah, we'll get through the Grish trilogy just this week, which is awesome.
Because that's not what I wanted to do. I thought it was going to last me a little bit longer than that. But it's been fun.
Yay. Okay, that's where we're going to stop for now. I don't know. Wherever you are in the morning tomorrow, we'll figure out where to go next. Because I don't even know anymore. But, okay, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
So, it's the next day. I read to chapter 13. Dad read chapter 11 last night. There's only really one thing to really mention right now, or 2 things. There's her now having the fetter, and then also now knowing who Strummond is.
That's also cool.
And I knew you would like it.
I actually like him.
I knew it.
I like I like his character. I like the fact that he's sort of, could he be a good guy? Is he a little bit of a good guy? Is he a good guy that could be a bad guy? You know, he wants to be king. Is that cool? He's going to ask his brother to stand aside. Meanwhile, his dad's already the king, but his dad is sick. I think the fact that he's completely messing with Mel's head is funny. You know, like she's showing him 0 affection, but Mel can't let it go. Just prior to that point, wherever you are, we haven't quite got to the city yet. So it's all been this build-up of him creating
this following.
Yeah, this following, and also creating, you know, saying, hey, I'm the one bringing the summoner back. I'm bringing her back to the throne. She's no longer part of the
Darkling. Okay.
So it's cool.
Awesome. That's our update for now, and we'll catch you up once we finish the book. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so Dad has finished Siege and Storm, and it ends off with quite a bit of a what's going on? Everything just happened.
No, it ends up in a place where you don't actually know what's going on because the author didn't really help us build a picture. We just went from here to here and then end a book. You said it was a cliffhanger. It's not a cliffhanger. They didn't even give us... It was like... It's like, okay, so it's over. And we're not 100% sure whether she's in charge of her life, not in charge of her life. Is she a captive? Is she a prisoner? Or is she a leader? Well, I actually think the last one, she's definitely not a leader at the moment. I think she's actually in a worse spot than she was even with the Darkling.
Yeah, no, she's literally become basically a captive. He's
not a very nice dude.
No, he changes alliances to whatever best suits him, and
he's like most priests in most books. Very few of them are actually good. They're as bad as the people they think are bad, generally out for the same amount of power. I don't know if that's saying something about organised religion or not, but we don't have to read into that because that's way too political for this conversation. That is definitely a conversation for another day.
But basically it ends off with her facing off against the Darkling and then using his power against him.
Well, using his power and her hat power.
Yeah.
To
using
basically
their connection.
basically trying to destroy. She was trying to destroy him and effectively nearly burnt herself out in the process. Or may have burnt herself out.
Yeah, and she didn't really care about that.
No, because she just wants it over. So it's the ultimate sacrifice. I'm going to burn myself out, kill him in the process, and you'll all move on hunky-dory.
Yeah, like it's all done.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way because your friends always try to save you.
No.
Especially the love of your life, or he thinks he's the love of your life.
It's funny, so I don't remember what my thoughts were the first time I read this series, who I wanted her to end up with, but in the past couple of years...
Who else would she end up with other than Mel?
So, well, the thing
She
is...
doesn't have a love interest other than Mel. It's not like most books where she could have 2 or 3 that she connects with. She connects with the Darkling on this weird magical level, and then she connects with Mel on a physical, romantic level.
So there are 3 different ships that people have with her. It's
Nikolai.
Yeah,
she could
it's
end up with
ɪḻsᴛᴏ
Nikolai.
and the Darkling, it's ɪḻsᴛᴏ and Mal, and it's ɪḻsᴛᴏ and Nikolai. So many people are such a fan of the Darkling and ɪḻsᴛᴏ together, and then there are so many people who just think that Mal is just a mess of a character. A lot of people just don't like him.
Why? I think he's cool. He's like most, unfortunately, like most men. We're somewhat mixed up.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm this reread that I'm doing. I don't even know if I want her to be with anyone anymore. I'm just like, you know what? None of the romantic interests make any sense. You know, her and Mal together, there's so much difficulty between the 2 of them. And he does stupid things and she does stupid things. And I'm just like, you're both stupid together.
And the Darkling is essentially evil, so you can't really have her end up with him because he threatened to basically turn the whole world into the fold. Anyone who didn't follow what he wanted.
Yeah.
So it's not sort of cool. And then Nikolai, well...
He's too good for her.
She could end up with Nikolai, but then it's not really... No, I don't see that happening.
Okay, so what did you think? I forgot. It wasn't until the scene was actually happening about Vasily being an even bigger dumbass than he had been throughout the entire book.
Lord.
I was just like, I forgot that he did this and he's a complete and utter idiot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So is his dad. Because his dad thought it was cool, and his dad obviously sent him off to do it. So...
They were just so against it being Nikolai saving anyone because, you know, he's the bastard son that they were just like,
Well, now they don't have to worry because they're both dead.
Yeah.
Well, the king may not be, actually, because he...
But Vasily is dead.
Oh,
and I was
Vasily
like,
is well and truly... Yeah, he lost... He's not... No coming back from where he went. Look, it is a great YA book, and for someone who's just starting to get into fiction fantasy... It's a really good series. I think it would keep a young reader's mind really engaged. You know, I just think for people like us, we read so much. And let's contrast it. We've just come off Sarah Maas
yeah.
into this. It's like, okay, whoa, we've gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Like this is PG-8. This was definitely written for a young reader. I do think the development of Zoya's character in this book was really good, and I think that as the series went on, there's a lot she could do with that character because she still doesn't like Elena, which is fine,
yeah.
but she is realistic about why she's doing this because she didn't want to go with the Darkling. She thought what he was doing was wrong. I think that was a cool plot twist.
She's a very interesting character, and the thing is that even though she's now with Alina, she still has her own beliefs. Like, she hasn't just completely like switched over and thinks that Alina's is some amazing person. She's still just like...
No, she still tried to steal her boyfriend. And she wasn't even subtle about it. She made it just she was looking, and then as she was getting on with him, she's looking at her, looking over the shoulder. So you know,
that's true. Oh my god!
But Mel knew, and he came running after her anyway.
Oh yeah.
So
they're a mess and a half. What do you want the resolution to be, and then what do you think is
look, let's face facts. I like happy endings.
Yes, everyone.
You know, I prefer a happy ending over a sad ending. I don't know what I want to happen. I honestly. It's an interesting series for me. Usually I have an affinity for certain characters in the book. I think because of the way this book's written, none of them I really love. Like, it's not like I'm so attached to any of them. If any of them died, I can sit there and go, yeah, you know what? What I think is most likely to happen is there's going to be a huge face-off, and either the Darkling and Alina will both die. Unlikely Alina's going to die because it's a YA and it's a young YA book, so I suspect she's going to survive. I think Mel will survive because she won't kill off those two characters. Ultimately, the world can't continue to exist with these two great powers there. So if somehow they manage to kill the Darkling, you can see all the way along, all she's wanted to do is escape from being the Sun Summoner. She's got this magical connection with the Darkling, which keeps drawing her back in. But if he is gone from the picture, then that dynamic goes, and then then I suppose she's going to have to figure out how does she move on. There's been a ton of books written in a similar vein where they just disappear, but they don't die. They disappear, and then usually in the epilogue you find them later on doing something. They somehow figured out how to live their life under the radar. So that's what I suspect is probably going to happen.
Awesome. So we will talk more after we get either we finish the next book or we're somewhat through it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we are now halfway through Ruin and Rising, which is book 3, the last book. A lot's gone down. We have the beginning with her being underneath as a prisoner to the apparat, her escaping.
We don't like him.
No, we know. You were like, you weren't sure last couple books exactly which way he was going to go, but he's like
every other priest in every other book. Yeah. Somewhat power hungry, trying to pretend in his own mind he thinks that he's not. And then when he's ultimately called out, you realise, yeah, he knows he is.
Like you said, in the past couple books, it seems like whenever they try and hide and escape, they keep getting caught over and over again.
They are really bad at hiding. Yeah. Okay, so you've got all these people that can kill people that are thought, and they get caught by common bandits.
Yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's a little sad. But then Nikolai comes in and he saves them again because he's an amazing person.
No, he sort of set them up too because he knew they were there and he waited for the bandits to come and capture them.
Well,
then he killed all the bandits.
Yeah, he was looking for a win-win situation. But then, of course, we see that things, even though once they get to his little hideout, which is a very beautiful place, we get there, we see Barbara again. She reveals all that she does about her being Morozova's daughter, Darkling also being Morozova's grandson. That's the word I was thinking. Yeah. Which explains a lot more to his obsessiveness over it. But it's also like, does he...
He's just a bad dude.
Does he... He doesn't know, though, that he is.
Look, let's face it, he's not good. He's not nice.
No, he rips apart Sergei, which is Sergei's own. I don't think Sergei actively went out to... I just think he has hella war veteran PTSD. He's just a broken man and all he wants is...
Well, now he's really broken. Because they tore him to pieces.
I think he just wanted to be killed. I think he wanted everything to be ended. And ultimately he did die. I think that's what he just wanted to be put out of his misery.
Darklings... His guys aren't friendly.
No, and now we have poor Nikolai,
who is also some version of a Darkling creature.
Yes,
although seems to maintain some sense of himself.
Yeah, because he follows them into the little cabin and he sees them and he doesn't seem to
attack them or anything.
No, he knows, but he's
almost like a good vampire in a vampire show.
Yes. Barbara is dead. I forgot she dies.
Well, she jumped off a cliff and took all the Darkling's creatures with her.
I don't know. I think that was
so she's dead.
Sad.
That was not cool. I thought she could, but we don't know that she's dead.
Yeah, because they weren't going to kill. Like the only way she would die from that jump would be from the jump itself and like splatting on the ground. Like the creatures themselves were never going to kill her.
And even then, can she die from that? Because she is made of shadow.
She's very old. The other interesting thing is, you know how they were supposed to go to ᴑɪδᴏ before the Darkling came and attacked? So that's where the next series takes place, is in ᴑɪδᴏ.
Oh.
So it's kind of interesting.
No, because now they go looking for the Firebird. Mm-hmm. Always interesting when people go looking for phoenixes. It never ends up the way you think it's going to end up.
I don't think I've seen a lot of books where I see someone going after like a phoenix. Does it?
Yeah, generally people don't go after them. They're generally pretty tough. Gwyn's had a pretty rough run of it.
Genya. You're in the wrong
sorry.
book again. Gwyn, Genya also. Yeah, Genya has. That's true.
She's had a very rough run of it.
Yeah, no. That's...
She's lost an eye, got scars, can still make other people beautiful but can't help herself.
She can't help herself to an extent. She did make her hair redder, which showed that she was, kind of getting back into it.
She's missing an eye.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Do you think she's got a patch? Like
a
pirate?
I don't know if she has one yet
well?
in this, but we know that she does make a patch for herself.
You know what she should get? She should get the cat. What's the cat's name?
On cat!
On cat? She should
Wear on cat on the shoulder with the
like a parrot. Like a pirate.
Everyone's afraid of on cat and, what's his name with the H?
Hacksaw? Hacksaw?
Yeah, he's a man.
There's something wrong with him.
There's something really wrong with that man.
The cat hisses at everyone.
He has conversations with the cat.
It even attacks him. There's something
weird going on there. And then lastly, he's just talking about David and kind of how he means well and how you've mentioned.
He sort of made a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Left all his notes behind. He's a little bit like Miroslava,
which
crazy genius. Didn't think he did anything wrong, and then he realizes, whoop. Yeah, I'm the one that left the Darkling all the ideas of how he could control the Fault.
He tries. He
definitely tries.
At least him and Genya are happy together. One positive out of this.
That's true. And he actually loves her.
Okay.
And I think she definitely loves him.
I'm going to be really excited to see what you think of how this ends. So that's when we're next going to catch up. It'll probably be in a week unless you manage to finish the book today, because then you're going on a travel.
It's not very likely. No.
Yeah, so there'll be one more clip for this vlog and then this one will end and eventually we'll start on the next one. So we'll see you guys in a week. Bye.
Bye.
So it's not a week later.
I was under a lot of pressure today.
I'm sorry, did you feel like...
I feel pressured. I felt peer group pressure to finish the book.
Did you hate the ending?
Nah, I don't know that I hated the ending. I guess that was sort of somehow how it was. It wasn't exactly. I do like the fact that they set up the orphanage and that they used their money and they basically went back and, made a life for kids like themselves. So I thought that was cool. I struggle with things where people's magic is completely stripped away.
This was the first book I ever read where that happened. And I was livid.
Yeah,
livid.
They're normal people.
But it's funny, this time when I read it, I was fine with it. And it's something I get that, but it's interesting because previously in other clips you have said that the entire time throughout this entire series, all she has ever wanted
was to be normal.
Yeah. And she is. She might not 100% actually like it because she feels like a piece of her is now missing, that she gets to be normal, but that was the trade-off. And if that's what the two of them always wanted, then that's what they got.
I don't know. For me, I just always like you always want there still to be that little spark of something that makes that character have a little bit of their old self. But look, I thought it was awesome that she killed him.
She was like, I don't have to be Grisha to will Grisha still.
And she managed to kill Mal as well, which that was aggressive. I thought the actual last half of the book was really good. Loved the way that they finally got one up on the Darkling. They were able to actually, surprise him, which hadn't happened at all because it was always happening to her. The way she actually built the ending up was great. Having everyone train and people come back together. The fact that she tried to save Nikolai, I thought was awesome. And the fact that he put himself through so much pain, which just showed that he was able to actually retain some of his humanity, irrespective of the fact that he became one of their creatures. Yeah, in the end, he was the thing that turned the battle. I thought it was really good. I've got to say, I thought it was a good series.
Were you surprised to learn about Mal being the final amplifier?
100%. I thought it was the Firebird like everyone else. It was almost like all of the pieces from the manuscript and the diaries all came together because she finally jerried, hang on, the magic of Miroslav actually was given into his descendants, which meant that Mal was one of his daughter's descendants.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool though, that the fact that when the magic left her and left Mal and you brought the three amplifiers together, it spread everywhere. And that's, in the end, that was what undid the Darkling. It was not the fact that she defeated him, it was the fact that
The people did.
Everyone became part of the light. But it wasn't like she's the first and only sun summoner either. So at some point there's... we're not sure whether the sun summoner, whether that power came about because of the Darkling existing or not. So there's still a lot of opportunities to play it a lot further. Plus you've got Nikolai now and what's going to happen with all the other countries around him, because, you know, they've just gone through this war. The fold's now gone, so people can travel around more freely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where she takes the next two books.
The King of Scars duology.
Okay.
Which I didn't know that's where the King of Scars came from. I forgot that it came from the end of this book. That's what Nikolai had been called. So
yeah, because he has the scars.
The first book in the duology came out 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the second book comes out on March 31st.
Oh, so that's why you are pushing towards March 31st.
Well, no. Well, I actually didn't realise it's actually when it came out, and it's going to work out pretty well for us. Just because... And I haven't read the duology.
Which one? The first one or the second one?
The second one, King of Scars. Okay. I know something that happens in it because I'm part of this world and everyone spoils everything everywhere, and it's just impossible because it's been 2 years from it. That's going to be it for this video. The next one's going to be the duology for Six of Crows, and then we'll figure out what we want to do with King of Scars, because I don't know if that's something people want to see or not.
I don't know. We'll see. Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Hopefully we won't be spoiled for anything that happens. That's going to be it for this installment. I'm very excited to continue on in a couple weeks when Dad comes home and has time to spend time with me and read. But
hang on,
that sounds so sad.
Don't make it sound like I sit around and read with you. The only reason I read this book was you pressured. There was some significant peer group pressure to read the book.
If it wasn't... Okay.
I know, even tonight. Listen, 4 pages left. I choose to check my emails. This one is 4 pages. Can you not read the last 4 pages? I go, yeah, when I finished reading my email. It's
because your Kindle said 5% battery remaining. And I was like, it's gonna die. And then
it's not gonna die by the time I read 4 pages.
Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to this. You should have another go at that. Take 2. I can't. You can take 2. Okay, you ready? Take a breath. Okay, go. I forget what I say now. You were just signing off. If you want to see more of me. Yeah. So if you enjoyed this... So if you enjoyed this video, please slap button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to his channel. And I can't still just say it correctly. Subscribe to her channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch, everyone. See you. Bye. Bye. Hi. Okay. Sorry. Can you check? When did it come out? Next one. It came out next. You realise you're allowing me to open one of your books. Mm-hmm. Because you think that I'm too rough on books. Yeah, I gotta fix my hair. Okay. And I like the fact that you double-crossed him.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Hi, okay, so Dad has finished Siege and Storm. Before we get into that, no, actually. So Dad...
I hope we have a bloopers reel.
So I was gonna talk about, because I figured people want to watch this, so I want to talk about Hello Lovely Box and because I rep for them and like wear their stuff all the time in my videos, and I want to be like, I have a code, Princess15, use it if you want. I don't even know how to pronounce the apparat. Like, is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know, that's what I'm saying. Look, we got Australian accents, we can get away with it. What did you do there?
I'll burn myself again.
On what?
The pot. I was pouring out the water, and the back of the pot, the round part of it, it hit me.
Ow.
No.
Oh, excuse me.
You good?
I think it's all the jalapenos from my lunch.
Why would that give you the sneezies?
I don't know, it just does that. Jalapenos and tequila. Always go well together.